Welcome, y'all. I'm Mark
Welcome, yeah.
Dash
Jeff.
Jeffrey. This is Let's Talk Music. It's a podcast that we do try to do weekly.
Semi regularly.
So- it's like an
Well,
old man who didn't take his fiber. Might be this week, might be next week. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, we get together, we talk music, whatever that may be, whatever topics come along.
Well, first we
Got-
were talking about how nice your camera looks compared to my camera. And how you look nice and tan, and I look old and pasty on my video.
It's like he looks like Data.
I do. I have a very
You've got a
pale
very
blue hue going on. I don't
you've
know.
got you've got a mannequin
I'm not
going.
sure where that's coming from. Why do I look blue?
There's definitely a blue hue that's
I look sickly.
yeah,
It's weird.
keeping him all nice just so he doesn't become contagious to the rest of us.
Right. Oh man.
How you been, Jeff?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Tired, traveling a lot,
Did
but
that hour fuck you up?
nah, not so much. Not really.
I feel like I'm feeling it. I feel like this
Are
week
you?
is just going. It just won't stop. Like I'm like, damn, it's not.
This flew by for me. I was on the road traveling and stuff, so it's like I'm like
Yeah.
it's Friday. I'm like Jesus Christ.
I'm like Friday. I feel like
I
I've
know.
been through 3 Fridays this week.
Yeah, but no, that was what we were talking about. I what brought it up was because I had a really good gig with Magical Mystery a couple weeks ago, and I called you that next day, or I was like, yeah, this would be a good idea to talk about. And then
Yeah.
we played the other night, and it was like another like really great night for that band for Ritter Lane,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like that was what made me think of it was just like, is there a way to get into that zone all the like consistently? Like, what's your formula for success? You know what I mean? Like, what puts you in
How do
the,
you bottle it?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Is it possible to bottle it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just sometimes I feel like, sometimes you get frustrated or you feel like you're doing the same stuff over and over again. You just can't really, like for whatever. It could be anything. And now because like we're old and shit, it's like
Old and
it
shit.
could be like you're just tired, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it could be like whatever, but it's like when the moment's right. Like it's a Cialis commercial.
Yeah, it's a hymns commercial.
Yeah. But
When
like when
she
everything
looks at
lines up
you.
and it's like you get yourself into that place where you're like you feel like you can't do wrong, you know what I mean? Or you feel like you're at least willing to go out on that limb and try this everything, or you feel good about it at least at the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, feeling good about it in the moment is, I think, a huge catalyst to how you get to that place.
Yeah.
Like, I guess try to explain it to anyone who's like actually just listening is that we're talking about the idea of some nights
Hmm.
are great. Some nights and then you walk away and you overanalyze it and you look back and you go, musically
Yeah.
it wasn't that great, but
Right.
like
So that's the other thing is that's the other piece of this is that you
yeah,
feel great about it in the moment. And you're like, that was the most amazing thing. And everybody in the band walks away like that was amazing.
yeah.
And then like you listen back to it and you're like, ooh, was it?
Mm, mm,
I mean, it was good. I definitely had to have been good, but
yeah.
like you said, you start critiquing it and then you're like, oh, but like, where's that disconnect and does
I
it matter?
yeah, yeah, and I guess it comes down to the whole idea of a recorded art
Mm,
versus performed art. The performance of it while it was being made, although may have had some holes in it,
right.
the room wasn't worried about the holes. So you're
Right.
playing the room. And
Yeah.
I feel like the night, and, I guess that's what we're saying, but like I don't know if you can. I don't think you can bottle it. I think it just happens. You know,
Yeah.
because it's like the nights that you feel good at the end of the night. You're like, "Oh, it's fucking great," and you're like, "Yeah, well, you were kind of drunk." You're like, was I?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
like no shit. By the half of the second set, every time I looked at you or taking drink, you know what I mean? Like whatever it may be.
Right.
And it's like, but I was feeling fantastic. You're like, yeah, you know, you were feeling no
Well, that's the
pain.
thing. That's one thing when you walk off and you feel good, and other people are kind of like, I don't know, didn't think, you know what I mean? But it's another thing when like the whole band walks off and goes, that was amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
Like
that was that
we were
shared
on tonight, something
yeah.
was happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some extra mojo in the air or whatever is like it's like crawling through. I mean, everybody feels it,
Yeah.
and it's just like how and why that happens is so unpredictable. But that's like what you want. That's what you have. That's what you're shooting for every single night.
Well, I think, us being Ritter Lane being, super, in our infancy as far as like I
Hmm.
think what this band is capable of and where it will go is just it's just that it's so new. So when we have a crowd that's responsive, we're like
Right,
chilling. Like there's and it's
right,
like my
exactly.
wife and my kids. You know
Right,
what I mean? But they're like dancing and having fun. It's like friends of ours and everyone's having fun. I think that reciprocation kind
yeah.
of kicks you up that notch.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing, but like at the same time, like too, there's like so like couple this was 2, 3 weeks ago at this point.
So what happened at the Magical Mystery? You never actually got into it with me.
It's
Like,
so Magical Mystery is a totally different thing than Ritter Lane, right?
yeah,
Magical Mystery, we do Beatles songs, and we pretty much, we run through a catalog of songs, and we play probably 60 to 60 songs a night, you know what I mean, or
yeah,
more. Um, there's not a lot of stretching out, very rarely have we done that. Um, and like, so it really, we're just hitting the songs and you're just like, it's more about like the vocal performances and like the emotion of the performance of that structured song. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
sometimes like, especially when we're hitting it hard, because we tend to play a lot in the summers and stuff. If we're doing like multiple shows in a row and you're generally playing the same hits, you got to hit all the right stuff,
Of
that people want
course,
to
of
hear.
course. You got to tickle
Uh,
this and tickle that.
but we try to give them something new, and I don't know for whatever reason the other night when at we got together, we hadn't played in like a month, and we had like learned like three new songs, like some new songs for
Which
us,
is odd for you guys
which is
because you
hard.
guys
Yeah,
have been
odd,
playing for so long. Like,
right?
it's like,
So we had picked up a couple new songs, and like I think we came out and we just started. We didn't have a set list written. We just started rattling them off, but it was like everybody in the band like could feel it right away. You know what I mean? Like immediately, like I was turning around and like Justin was like, "We're on." Like he was like
yeah,
he
he's
was
like
like,
killing it.
you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
feel it. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, what
and
is
it
it?
just
What is
lasted
it? What is
all.
it?
I don't know. It was like, and that's the thing. So we do three sets. So like the first two sets we just crushed, and it was super tight, and we were just on it. We weren't. Nobody was missing anything. I mean, maybe we were. Looking back again, you never know in the moment like what it actually is, but like it felt so good. And then by the third set, like we just like really just like we turned into like some jam band, you know what I mean? It was like we just started playing stuff, stretching stuff out, and like we had this huge long jam on like this one song that like we never do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But it was just, and then songs were going into stuff. We were just like literally doing like space into like, oh, well, let's go into that song. That make, it was stuff that we
Really?
never really do.
That's
But it was
awesome.
just a great night. We all walked away from it just going like, that was awesome. Like, like that was a hot night.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what made that night so special? You know what I mean? It's not like it was a new place for us. It's not like we were playing that much new stuff. I mean, we were definitely throwing in stuff that we didn't play in a while. Maybe that was exciting to us, but like that was the other thing. Songs we haven't played in like 6 months, and we're nailing them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like they were just like just dropping right in. It's like, how is that possible? Like,
Hmm.
um, and it
Well,
was just that extra bit of like energy, I think, that lent itself to like everyone was just feeling it. So it was like,
let me
uh,
ask you this.
mhm,
So since you're playing with Ritter
mhm,
and we have such more open floor plan, you
mhm.
know, we're cafeteria style.
Right.
Like it's a buffet. You might get. Do you think that has
Buffet.
like rubbed off a little bit in the sense of like your
Absolutely, yeah.
availability for it to like
I think
even
so.
or to just even just to stick your toes in that water and go,
Yeah.
let me see. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Yeah,
where
for
before
sure.
you may not have.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, before it was just kind of like, I mean, there's not a lot of stretching you can do on something like,
No,
I
not
want to
not
hold your hand.
stretching, but just even like extended solos or just
Right.
like an extended musical idea where you hold it for another 16 bars or
Yeah, I mean,
whatever that, you know.
since Dan joined the band on bass, that's started
Dan's
to happen.
joined the band.
Yeah, Dan's joined the band. But like since he's joined, that's certainly started to happen because I mean, he's great at going off like
Well,
that, you
I
know.
think I was saying that to you the one time we, we played that one your guys festival show, and even I think even at Mickey Fest,
Oh
I
yeah.
felt like you guys. I'm like, you guys are playing these songs in a way that's like
Yeah.
it's respectful. There's the homage. There's obviously what it is, and then it's this energy kind of like we're still going to kind of explore this meat.
Yeah,
You
it's
know what I mean?
live, you know. We want it to be live like it, you know, like the Beatles would have just played and they would have had all kinds of energy and they would have been going for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of Beatles bands that did do the tribute thing, and it's like we've got to play it exactly note perfect, like it sounded on the album, and all the
Well, some
sounds
of
we
those
need you to
fools have the
say.
haircuts and shit. They got the whole
Yeah,
thing. You
yeah,
know?
which is cool. But that's the funny thing. Whenever I tell them, but I'm in like a Beatles band, they're like, "Oh, do you do it?" I'm like, "We don't. Well, no, we don't do that." You know.
No. I guess is that
But
the difference between a cover band and a tribute band? Is a tribute band
exactly,
like
yeah, yeah,
somebody who like wears the costume?
yeah. I
Because
think
you're
so.
like,
I think that's
I'll
pretty
like
much it.
I'll wear the musical costume all night, but
Hmm.
you're like, I'm not gonna get like a fucking pair of fake, horn rim
Yeah.
glasses to be Lennon, like, you know.
Well, so there's an interesting thing about that though. So there's a band that doesn't really seek out that sort of like improvisational side. It happens, you know what I mean, in spots here and there. Um, but like then you look at like a band like Ritter Lane, which is like we're constantly looking for that.
Oh, that's all we want. Yeah,
You know, that's
yeah,
all
yeah,
we want is we want
yeah.
that extended thing. We want the long jam. We want the we don't know where this is going. We don't, you know, how are we going to make it back? We
Yeah.
don't know, you know. Anybody can do anything at any time. Like we want the spontaneity of it. So like maybe that's I don't know. Is there something to like again, both two totally different directions, but it happens as scarcely with both
With
really.
both,
You
yeah,
know? Well, I mean,
yeah.
when it's pure, when it's really pure and it's really happening, you know what I mean? Like it's just you can't plan for it or can control it. It's just like all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, tonight's gonna be the night. This is it, you know?
I think it really is one of those things where even the idea of bottling the lightning will be impossibly bottled. It won't be
Yeah,
like it's almost like I have this analogy sometimes with my kids with like the kung fu student. The kung fu student wanted, he goes to the master. He says, "I want to become a master." He goes, "All right, what you need to do is train 10 hours a day for the next 10 years." He goes, "Well, how about if I don't sleep?" And I don't even eat. I'll just keep training. He goes, "Oh, right. Well, then you just train 20 hours a day for the next 20 years." He's like, "No, I won't do anything but train." He's like, "You're 100 years away from becoming a master. Like, the
right,
more you push for it, the more you grab for it, the further away it kind of goes." And that
right.
idea of like, I think it's just the surrender of it.
Yeah,
Like, like you said, there's this musical mindset is 180 degrees away from each other. You guys are
right,
trying to nail down Beatles tunes and we're trying to make shit up on the fly.
right.
It's like if you don't surrender, like it will make itself happen,
Yeah.
you know, like it
Yeah,
or
that's
not.
true. I mean, there's definitely that surrender, and we always talked about that before too. Like, kind of ride it, and as soon as you like impose your own will on whatever it is you're improvising on, it's like you could take yourself right out of it. You know what I mean? It's like it's the hardest thing to do because like you get so excited. That's the problem with our band is that
We're
we're all
fucking
so excited
excitable.
about
Like we're like
it.
we really are Neanderthalish. We're like,
We're
oh
like,
my
you're
god,
touching it, you're touching it. You know,
she's gonna touch it.
gonna touch it.
She's coming close. She's rubbing your belly. You know what
It's
I
like
mean?
that, and we're
Like,
so
no,
excited about it. We have to be cool. We gotta be cool. We're not
we're not
cool.
fucking cool. We're
We're
like
definitely not
13 year
cool.
olds. Like, oh my god, she rubbed me. She
Right.
rubbed up against me in the lunch line.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's
If we were
terrible.
cool, it might be better, maybe. But I
Ah,
mean, it's
it's
great.
so
It
new. It's
And
like
yeah,
new. It's like new pussy. You know, it's so
yeah,
new.
it's
It's
a
like
tough thing because I wonder about bands like that. Like, I mean, we talk about Fish and some of these other jam bands that are out there, how they do it night after night after night after night, and like maybe they
certainly.
don't even feel like they did it night after night, and we just think they're doing it, and we're like, they're amazing, and they're backstage like that was bullshit, like
Yeah,
it
they're like me.
sucked.
They're you and I afterwards going. Well, if we really listen to it,
Right, exactly.
like,
There's a lot of improvements we
there's
could make.
fucking
Yeah.
many mistakes. There's a lot of holes there. You know.
Yeah, I guess it's all relative, but I just started thinking about that. Like, man, wish there was a trick that you could just somehow figure out how to get into it. And I guess there is eventually. I mean, maybe at some point we'll figure it out, or
For
even as
me,
individuals.
the trick that I've been getting into is me myself just being like, I'm gonna like enjoy this.
Right.
Like I'm going to kind of like, and I think I said this to you before. It's like I'm going to kind of be selfish in this just because I need this.
Yeah,
I need this in my life. So I'm going to enjoy this and hopefully that joy rubs off and everyone else can kind of
that's
connect
definitely a big
to it.
part of it. And not going in. I've been doing it too. Like just not going in with any like expectation.
Mm-mm.
Of like how I'm like, because I'll sit at home and I'll be like, oh, it'd be cool if we could do like this song into this song and we could do this jam here that'll go into that. And it's like you get there and it doesn't work out and then you're upset. Like, oh, we didn't do the thing I wanted to do. And it's like
Yeah.
that's the wrong attitude to have. You really got to be like, all right, strap in, whatever happens.
I mean, if we're truly on the hunt,
Yeah,
you know what I mean, for Red October, like if we're on the hunt for that motherfucking thing,
right,
there are gonna be nights where we're just shooting blanks, Daddy O.
right.
Do you know what I mean? It's just not gonna happen. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
how much we practice, doesn't matter how much we put into it, just how fucking planets and stars line up. Who really because it would just get like metaphysical. It becomes
Yeah.
like the universe, the
Yeah.
energy, the guide, whatever the fuck it is, the teacher, who like. And then it's like some nights, dude's chilling, he ain't with you.
Yeah. It's crazy though when it does happen. Like,
I feels like a wonderful. I'm proud to be a part of it.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm grateful that I'm like I can experience that. I'm grateful for all those musical experiences and just being able to, you know,
I've had nights where I've practiced my ass off. Like I've worked really hard, or I'll be like working really hard, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna really work on this solo, and I'm really gonna work on this song. And then I show up to the gig, and I totally blow that thing that I was working on. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
hate
yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's like the
yeah,
most frustrating thing in the world. Like that
yeah,
happened to me last thing with
yeah.
fucking Aaron's song. I was like at home, like working on it. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna learn these words. And as soon as it got started, I was like, I can't remember what I'm doing. Like I was like, where am I? It was horrible.
Yeah.
I was like,
So
God damn it,
it's
It's
like the first time I did stand up, I
yeah,
got like booed, like
yeah,
I got like rushed off stage, like I like shit the bed, like it
yeah,
was not good. It was like the most
right,
terrible, you know. And that's when that you realize what like bombing is. It has nothing to do with like, oh, your jokes weren't landing. It's like, no, I'm fucking freaking out right
right,
now.
yeah,
What is happening? This was not what I planned.
yeah. But that's the thing. It's almost like you can't plan. I mean, I guess the guys who are really good are planning it. Maybe we just suck. That's the problem. But
Fuck that.
it's like how
That ain't it.
that's not it. That
That
could
ain't
be it. Fuck that. We're awesome.
it.
We
Awesomely.
rocked hard,
Yeah, dude. Those seven people were
so hard.
getting down.
But yeah, that was the only thing I could think of. It was like, how can you get to the point? Like, you ever read that book, The Zen of Guitar?
No, but I
That's
think you've recommended to me.
I thought you recommended to me. I thought I
Hold
got to
on, was it
read it.
was it was it what the motorcycle maintenance?
I don't think so. This was like it was just like a Buddhism book, but it was like
Yeah.
everything was applied to the guitar, you know what I mean? It was like taking pride in the way you change your strings and like caressing your guitar and keeping it clean, and like there's a relationship between you and the instrument, and it's a living thing, and
Ah,
you
yeah,
gotta,
yeah. I
you
definitely
know,
probably
and like
recommended that to you when I was doing a lot of medicines. I know
yeah,
you're talking.
I'm pretty sure we were living on Ritter Lane when
Yeah,
you
yeah,
recommended
yeah,
that to
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
But I
that's
think
like
there's
the
I
kind
think
of
there's something
idea,
to that though, right? Like I think
you
there's
know.
something really to that. When I came back into the game, I just faced it with a completely different like level of reverence and
Yeah,
just I don't know what the fuck it's gonna lead to. I don't know what the end game is, but while it's happening, I'm gonna like give it my shit. Like I'm gonna give it
yeah.
my
Well, it's been
energy.
so long since I've been in like a band that like jams like this. You know what I mean? Like we were in it back in the day when we
Yeah, it's
first
been
started out.
forever.
This
You've
is
still
sort of
been
a
playing music.
throwback. This is sort of a throwback for both of us. You know what I mean? To get back into like that fully experimental band, because there's always like one or two people who, over the years, who are like in a band. They're like, oh yeah, we like the jam, but it's like that's not really their thing, or like they have different styles of music. Like this is the first time I think we've been in a band where it's like everybody's really on the same page as far as like, yep, just
I think that's like
go jump out of the
capable.
plane and here we go. You know what I mean? Like we're
Yeah.
all down for whatever. So it's like a muscle too. Like you got to get used to that feeling again of like, and I think that was what we were talking about the other day. It's like you can feel like we're all starting to like when something starts to happen, we all go, "Yep, okay." Like we're starting to recognize that, and it's just a time thing that time in the saddle. I think of building that muscle up. But um,
Absolutely. I don't think that's something easily gained. And
yeah, but I
especially
like that Zen of guitar thing. It's like that whole discipline of that is like you got to attack that like with the same discipline as like the Kung Fu master. You know what I
no,
mean?
certainly,
To be able
certainly.
to master it and even
Yeah.
to get to the point where like you can just go, all right, now I'm stepping on the stage and it's like home. Now I'm in that spot and I'm connecting with that otherworldly spirit that's going to filter down through me and we're just going to go.
Yeah.
You know
It's
what I
kind of
mean?
like the boxer analogy. The boxer trains for 3 months or a month, whatever their camp is. It's
Right.
usually like, 3 months, 12 weeks or whatever. But they do all that so that when they get in the ring, everything is just responsive.
Dude, I can't stop looking at how fucking
Wrinkled
old
you
my
are.
neck looks. What happened to me, dude? I have this line in my neck now.
Huh.
And the pasty blue shell, it's
Yeah,
just
you gotta get some
not
like you gotta
helping.
get some like hippie fucking
Hey, you
lights or
gotta turn on that.
something.
I mean, extend my neck or something.
You're
Is
gonna
this
have like
better?
you're gonna have the African coils next
Is
time.
this
You're like,
better?
it's like, do I look natural?
Look
Did
at you.
you?
I can't. What is with this? I'm getting old. I'll be
He got
46.
he over here, man as fuck. Has got a neck pussy. He's like,
I
yeah,
do. I got turkey neck.
I got turkey neck.
Gobble gobble giggle.
All right, well,
But yeah, so it's a very special thing when that thing happens, and that's the goal. But it's like I don't think there's a way you can just say, I don't know, maybe there is. Maybe people
here's the
comment
thing. Here's
on
where our
ideas for that.
for me, honestly, the real question will come into play if I ever play to a steady crowd.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I think anytime there's actually a crowd, my energy is gonna be up. I'm gonna be into it. They're dancing, I'm dancing. Like it would just always kind of be special for me at that moment because
Yeah.
of that. But when you
Yeah.
do that every night and there's a crowd every night, now you're talking about it the next level.
Well, and there's a reciprocal relationship then that happens because then they've heard you, especially if it's like the same people who start to repeat, come out and see you,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
like they start to recognize, oh, these guys are trying to do something different every time, you know? So then they're looking for it, and now you have a little bit of like responsibility to deliver on that. So there's like this give and take between you and the
Well, it's the
audience where
it's
you're
the
trying
yeah,
to,
it's the
yeah,
artist in the the crowd like that. And I
yeah,
think we had that conversation where we were talking about like what they're not there to watch you fall. They're there to watch you. Like they want to like encourage you. Like no, no, jump, motherfucker, you got it.
right.
Like and we're
Yeah,
like,
that's how it felt the other night. It was like I
yeah,
think it was a good environment. I think that maybe had something to do with it. Like there
that
was no
room's
like
cool.
judgment based on us. Like we didn't feel like we were because it's in a public square of a random bar and you walk in and you're playing like 30-minute jams, people are like, what the, some people are like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? But like in that environment, like the Nomad, there's
Yeah.
a bit of an openness and a willingness to be like, oh, okay, this is cool. These guys are going to jam. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
there's a
think they
lot of
care.
places we're finding now that are allowing us to do that, which is cool,
I
and not
don't think
feel the
that we
judgment.
honestly give a fuck.
I
Like
always,
know,
I didn't early on in my life. You know what I mean? Like I was like
yeah.
early on, I was like, I don't know what the fuck everybody else is doing. Oh, this is what we do.
This is what this is how you play. Yeah.
But like now, like moving through my life and everything, and getting in all the different bands and everything, it was just like, okay, well, and you play with different people outside of that genre, and they're like, oh, I mean, it's cool to have one or two jams, but like, or like maybe you go long on this one, but like not everything. We got to keep it moving. You got to keep people interested.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People
Yeah,
get hung up on that. Not me.
yeah. Not this
not,
band. No, we
not
don't give a shit. We're
nah.
unapologetically a jam band.
Yeah. Like
So
and that's fine. That's cool because even when we were in Mothers and we were doing that jam and it was almost like, don't say the word. We're not a jam band. Don't talk
right,
about it. Don't admit what we're actually doing.
right.
People get bored by that. Then they,
Oh, I always said we were a jam band. I never
what
even.
the fuck? We were nothing but a jam band.
I know.
Like,
It's funny.
and that's why Ritter's cool in
Yeah.
my eyes is that we are just old guys just getting at it. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest, this
I
music.
think that's the cool. I think that's what it'll end up coming down to is like I said, it's the time too, because it's like it's a learning position. It's a learning thing for all of us. Like where we're all kind of like realizing like,
There's somebody just walked in behind you. Watch
oh, they
yourself.
did.
You get see
You're gonna be on my
you
podcast.
got murderers coming in. Saw them come through. Be careful.
They just snuck in.
Yeah.
But I think there's that time that it takes to like you said, with this band, it's like first you're all getting to know each other and you're like testing out the waters and going like, okay, how deep can we go? And now we're at the part now where we're like all looking around at each other like, oh, we can go as deep as we want. Okay. And then it's like the trust that starts to build after that. And then it's just the recognition and the time to know that, you know what I mean? Like it takes all that time and that building of stuff, but
Yeah, what it's been about a year
a
since we've
year,
gotten together. Close to about a
not
year.
even, not even a year.
No, it's like nine. Yeah, we're not at a year, but
Yeah.
getting close. And
Yeah.
we've had what 4 or 5 shows. I mean, we've only played 4 shows in
Yeah.
that year. you know,
Yeah. But we're ready to go,
we're
man. We're
fucking
taking over
killing
the world.
it.
Like, fuck it.
Does anybody have any connections at any record company at all? Let us
Right.
know.
'Cause
But
we're going on tour.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
gonna get the Backstreet Boys tour bus.
We're going right down Main Street, right in Newark, Delaware.
Yeah.
we're
We're
touring
going right down Main
we're,
Street, right up the ass of the competition.
yeah. right down to the Deer Park.
Oh
Anyway,
man, the old Deer Park.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So if
I'm
you have
Mark.
ideas, musicians out there,
Yeah.
comment and tell me
Yeah.
what's your pre-show routine, right? Like what's your is there a drink combination? Is it
yeah.
like a shot of tequila and
Yeah.
this, you know what I mean?
Is
Like
it a
what's
little
your
bit of that
pre-show
Colombian
ritual?
marching powder mixed with a little bit
Well,
of a little bit of
right.
the
Like
little
what is it? What's the
yeah
perfect recipe for
that
a
gets
good
you to the
show?
place. And I guess that's where it comes down to. I guess the real question, if we're asking like musicians,
Hmm.
are you trying to get them off? Or are you getting off?
Mm.
What
They
is
get off
what
as you get off.
if they I know, like that's how I get off. That's my kink. I'm saying, but I need to like the motivate I think it comes down to like motivation.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah. What
motivation,
is your
but just
motivation?
like your ego part
Yeah.
of it.
What's the point?
Yeah. Like, are you doing this to get laid? Or are you doing this to like explore music? And that's, I think, when you asked earlier about like the Dead or Fish and anyone, how do you get up for it every night? Because there's umpteen million roads that we've never taken on this song.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to take it to that this time. I'm going to go this way. You know what I mean? Or just see
Thought you
what
were gonna say
happens.
because there's umpteen million hot cuties in the front row or something. No,
Yeah,
I'm just
it's never. It's just dudes in the front row.
kidding. It's always the dudes in the row. It's funny.
the
Yeah.
dudes in the front row.
Yeah. So it's your intent, your ability to play without judgment,
which
and
is judging yourself.
but really playing for yourself in a way, because like if you enjoy it and you're getting off, then that transfers to the audience.
Yeah.
So it's selfish in a way,
It's totally
but
self-serving.
non-selfish in a completely different way.
Selfish, here's all right, this is how I'll put it. It's selfish in the sense that I want to be the conduit that gets to speak with the Almighty and then gives it to you. Like I
Right,
want that instrument to be me,
right,
selfishly. I don't really need to get involved in it too much other than being the vessel,
right.
if that makes sense. Like I'm totally down with like practicing and making sure my fingers will move when it needs to happen
Yeah,
and be like, here we are, motherfuckers, this is the shit. You
yeah.
know?
And that's the thing. It's like then you do all that, and then you show up and you try to do the right thing, and it just shits on you in the other direction. You're like, damn it, this whole night was ruined. What's wrong with me?
What did I even? What was I
What did I
thinking?
do?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. What's the formula? That's what I want to know. Somebody
yeah,
give me the secret recipe, because it's happened to me twice and I don't know what the fuck I did. But if
yeah.
I could do that every time, that would be the way to go.
He needs Sir Isaac Newton to let him know how the shit works.
Right. We need somebody to we need like Jerry to come down and break it down for us again. Like for real, Jerry. Like
Yeah,
what is it? He's like, well, it's a lot of heroin, and
it's
you're
like,
like, oh,
what you want to do is start off at 18 eating a lot of acid, you know.
right, exactly. Oh man.
All right, man. Well, this has been fun.
All right.
We'll have to do it again.
Yep.
Let's talk music. My buddy
Peace.
Jeffrey. I'm Mark. Later.